Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of Undead Unluck! We are on the final 3 chapters covering Season 1 anime. Isn't that big? This is it. This is it. We're closing it out. Big time. Ooh, and what a way it ended last time because not only did we get the backstory of Unknown but we watched Unknown make the ultimate sacrifice as everyone takes on Autumn. Gotta beat the seasons. Gotta beat the seasons, you know? And that means that there's 3 more too, you know? Autumn is very powerful. So that'll be interesting to see how the other seasons will stack up in the next seasons. Alright, so let's not waste any time and let us get reading. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca, chapter number 051, Hero. Unknown stood before them in her final moments as smoke began to fester up through her body and slowly fade into nothingness. She said, "Oh, the rest is up to you, mon ami, my cast of X-Man." And poof, nothing left but her clothes and the pen, the rare artifact that started it all. And Fuko leaned close in shock, saying, "Huh?" In a flashback, Fuko remembered her time with family. "My poor child got hurt because she played with that girl," the woman said. "It was an accident, man," he said as he was covered in bandages as the mother screamed out. "What are you gonna do about this?" To which the old man said, "Like everyone said, Fuko didn't do anything. The other youngins said so themselves, didn't they? That girl is always at the scene of every incident that happens at their school," she screamed out as Fuko hid behind the old man and buried her face. She must have done something no good." At the altar of her parents, she prayed to them. "You haven't done anything wrong, Fuko," the old man said. "Yeah, I know, but Fuko replied. "Hey, Grandpa, what's that?" she pointed out. That was her mom's favorite manga. I always buy the newest volume when it's out and put it on the prayer altar." The old man shivered with a little smile on his face. "Manga? Can I read it?" "Aye, go right in the head. I'm sure that'd make your mom happy." And she picked up the book and flipped through the pages and became wide-eyed. "Oh, wow, look at all the pretty pictures." Her parents died. Her grandfather died. And after suffering so much misery, there was only one thing that kept her from ending it all. Manga. The power of manga. "Well, I can't die," she said. "Until this ends, how can I?" And that's when she snapped out of her flashback and stared at what was left of unknown Sensei. And a strange bolt coming hook came right out from behind them. Andy picked up on it and immediately slashed his sword, slicing Autumn's claw. He began healing again, going, "Kick. It's repairing too fast," Andy thought. "How am I gonna attack it?" "Hey, Undead," Rip said from down below. "Who was that man? Why did he disappear? And why did he turn me back to normal?" And Fuko and Andy were in silence. "I told you before, I don't plan on getting all buddy-buddy with you," he said as he floated with his bazillion abs presented to Fuko. "Did you think I'd help you because I'm in your debt? That I'd have a change of heart if you peeled through my emotions? Well, think again. I'm not going to. And Fuko, in sheer anger, screamed out, Sensei called us heroes. Sensei did so much for all of us. He used me to guide us, she said. He gave us the chance to go to the past, become stronger. And last but not least, he reverted you. All of these things are necessary to beat Autumn. Rip stood in silence as Latlia listened on. Hey, Rip, Bunny said. Rip's body is back to normal, but... Oh, no, wait. Oh, wait, sorry. Hey, Rip's body's back to normal, but he don't look happy, the ghoul. What the matter? Right, Latla said. Rip wants to be a bad guy. Otherwise, he'll never get to where he needs to be, she said as she remembered her time with him and her sister. Being a hero means he would have to give up on her. Hey, Rip! Oh. Hey, Rip! Andy called out to him and got his attention. I'll cut up his leg with my katana! Then you attack the same spot and make it unrepairable! Ah, what? Latla! You defend the front! We need you to slip past this barrage fire! Wait a second, don't just casually call me out by my name, she screamed out. Bunny, you're a restrainer type, right? You're on core retrieval duty. I saw it. Bunny. Hey, Rip said. Who said you could call all the shots? He watched Andy slice Autumn across the face again. I'll have you know and I'll have you know that we can beat this thing, he said with his arm over Fuko's shoulder. Without a doubt! And Rip was shocked. Everyone was shocked. And Bunny was like, Agh. What is that? They saw strange dust pluming up from within the forest, like as if there was a forest fire. It was the small Umas made from humans that Autumn ate and crapped out of its birth canal. Eek! Autumn spiderlings! They screamed out. As a horde come trampling on. They're going into the main body! In the most gruesome way imaginable as they entered the canal. Hey, all of you, Autumn said. Seems as though you'd make quite lovely books. It's phase 2, huh? No way! Fuko said as she gripped Andy's shoulders tightly. You mean it wasn't already at max strength? Especially you. He swung out at Andy, missing him, and creating books all along the ground telling the history of the Earth. Andy, below! Fuko said as one of the books stretched up and gripped Andy's legs. You'll make a good bookmark, Autumn said. Andy! Yeah, Fuko screamed out as the claw came right at him, and Rip's eyes widened as he ended up having a flashback again. Did he? What's gotten into you? He said to his girlfriend. Rip, you've been helping me for as far back as I can remember. Rip, you're like some kind of hero, huh? And Rip, from out of nowhere, swung his robot feet at Autumn and sliced the mandible before it struck Andy and Fuko. With a big smile on Andy's face, he watched as Unrepair's attack caused the Autumn to slowly struggle to regenerate. Oh my, it won't repair. Tee-hee. Mr. Rip! Fuko said, looking at him. A Latla. Yeah? He called out to his teammate. Can we beat this thing? he said. We'll lose, she replied, without a doubt. And everyone was ready for one big attack. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. As enemies united against a common foe at the behest of the sacrifice unknown, they stood before Autumn, ready for one big strike. This is the tale of a guiding force for a cast of heroes. The tale of a single boy. Just this once? Rip said. Ha! We'll see! Andy smiled in reply. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca, chapter number 052, To You From Me. Fuko, unknown as a young boy, surrounded himself with the art that he drew with the help of an artifact. This story started with a little boy who loved manga, picking up a mysterious pen that showed him the past and the future. The boy tried to tell his mother of his visions of the past and future, but despite his best efforts, his voice remained unheard and his body unseen. That was because he had become the unknown negator and had to watch as his mother cried and wept for him until the day she died. And it was from there that that he envisioned this great battle between the negators and the Uma, known as Autumn, with Rip running along the claw of Autumn to deliver strike, and Latlia dodging everything. Andy was preparing for his big attack with Fuko on his back like Yoda. Unnoticed by everyone, unknown lived by himself. Despite that, he never gave up on life, in part because of his mother's desire for him to stay alive. But the other reason was thanks to what he saw that day. A cast of people wrestling with bitter pasts, a cast of heroes. A story that he wrote. That day, the boy realized if he drew as an author under the alias unknown, he could share his stories with the world. And it wasn't long before he realized something else. Fuko, lay it on me! Andy smiled. Huh? Is that necessary? Yeah, a little peck for bad luck! The cast of heroes he saw that day weren't just fiction. They actually existed. And Fuko delivered the kiss. This fact alarmed the boy. The fact that a story would become reality. Reality stranger than fiction, as all would say. Because in his vision of the future, Fuko was killed by Unseen. With Rip flying up into the air and calling out his orders. Latla, take care of Fuko. Please and thank you. Well, you'll have some nerve. And the world met its end because of Fuko dying. He had to change this future. The boy's mind was set. These heroes instilled him with the courage he needed. As Andy and Rip floated before Autumn for the next strike. To risk life and limb in order to repay their kindness with information about the future sprinkled throughout his manga, he would tell them of his existence. Volume by volume, chapter by chapter, he extracted the manifestation ability the pen held, and in order to meet Andy and Fuko, he created another version of himself, one named Unknown. As a result, the assassination was foiled, thanks to Andy pulling off the most epic move ever, and Andy and Fuko became strong as a result. Rip returned to normal, and preparations were set to defeat Autumn. How? We do not know. What we do know is that they both delivered the most epic moves imaginable. Deep Crimson Waxing Moon! Andy screamed out as his sword sliced Autumn on the right side. Full Moon Salt, Rip said as he guile flash kicked Autumn from the left side. Blood gushed out from the Uma as it screamed aloud, and as they were both repeating their attacks, Fuko and Latla with Bunny flew towards floated. Was it floating or floating? Floating towards them. Latla, Rip screamed out. Punch it now. As the opening was very clear, but starting to seal up slowly. The wound won't. The room won't close. Damn you! Special of repair. The Uma screamed out as his head, his weak point, was fully exposed within the flesh. I'm flooring it. Latla screamed out as Bunny screamed. Got it again. Perhaps it was a price to pay for changing the future. But the pen eventually crumbled to pieces. But not without proving, as Latla entered the cavity of the Uma, that the pen truly was mightier than the sword. He would never be able to draw another double again. The boy had gone back to being alone once more. What now? We can't see it, Agu. What now? We can't see it, Agu. Bunny screamed. Don't worry! Fuko watched on with determination. Hey, I know! I'm borrowing your move! And he aimed his blood red thumb finger at the Uma. However, the boy had no regrets. Volcano! For he had already told all that needed to be told. Unluck bullet! And Andy launched a spiral attack right at the opening. What? A finger? The unknown said as Annie's finger entered its mouth. Annie's finger definitely hit its mark, Fuko said. And that finger is in store for a stroke of unluck. She held on to Bunny tightly. So just have faith. Huh? Autumn said as his teeth clenched onto Andy's finger. Because we have all the pieces Sensei gave us. We have all the unluck on our side. Latla immediately flew out of the other side of Autumn's cavity with his head held. Wow, with his head in tow. Andy, of course, fell over somehow with a thud. We did it, Andy. Rip said as Andy slowly sat up from the pain. They would never be able to see that boy again because he is invisible. Could they assume that he was dead? Perhaps. Or maybe no, they could not. Andy threw his fist up in the air, and even if no one could actually see him, so long as there were people who remembered him, he would be right there. And he truly was there. On his knees, in tears, watching Andy celebrate. We won! That was the belief that Andy chose to hold, as Rip forever shed tears with no one to hear his cries. This is the tale of a guiding force for a cast of heroes. The tale of a single hero, invisible forever, with a smile on his face, knowing that he saved the world. The title of that tale began, "To You from Me." And Unknown connected his fist with Andy, and no one will ever know he did it. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. Chapter number 053. Have any black tea? The celebration began as Autumn just sat there and smoldering into near oblivion. Rip comes landing in with Latle and Bunny and all smiles, and Fuko, thankfully, is actually wearing gloves, helping Andy up to his feet. Thanks, my body isn't moving quite right. Andy checked his left hand, trying to figure out what's going on. And Fuko looked up into the air. Andy, look at that! And there was Autumn collapsing piece by piece, skin by skin, Autumn is disappearing, she said. Yeah, because it lost its core. The 6 of us. Each of them looked at, listened on. Came out on top. As Latlia then looked at what remained of Unknown, the broken artifact that will never free him from his eternal prison, and the ball. Yeah, guess we did, Latlia said. Latla, collect the soul caliber, he said. Mr. Rip! What? We're taking the artifact. And Fuko froze in silence. Then she bowed down immediately in a perfect 90-degree angle and presented herself to all of us who are watching this panel right now. Thank you very much for working together with us. I doubt the 2 of us could have done it alone, even when it looked like Andy and I were in serious trouble. You came to our rescue. And Rip was silent. We were perfectly in sync too. That proves we should be working together and... Unluck, he interrupted. We can't work together, he said, looking down at her. I want Ark. I got to see God the way Indiana Jones did, with my eyes closed and looking away. And helping you would mean join the Union, right? You can imagine how that turned out. My plot would get uncovered by injustice. Besides, Juice is keeping Ark all for herself. The fact that none of the other Union members knew about Ark is proof enough. And I have no choice but to steal it from under her. Get it? Under her, under our name. By force. And Foucault said one simple thing as the maple leaves of Canada, Vancouver, Canada, trickled down as if they were pretending to be sakura petals from Japan. This person must be very important to you. Yeah, he said. They're my everything. To which Bunny looked up at Latlia. Big sissy? Bunny suddenly just popped up from out of nowhere. Moments later. and Foucault was holding a pair of balls that said Autumn and gun. Oh, are you sure about letting us have Autumn? Won't you get in trouble? To which Rip replied in the sky, I'll probably get an earful for letting Sean get killed, but it's whatever. After all, I ended up owing you guys. And Latlia presented Foucault with the artifact pen. Here, this too. I gathered what I could. This is Sensei's. She looked at the shattered pieces of the artifact, unsure of how it could be put together again. Undead, Rip said while in the air. Who was he? Who was unknown? I'm guessing a negator. Unknown. A self-targeting compulsory type at that. I see. I hope we meet again. And with a big smile on her face, she waved happily, and Andy gave a slight nod. Yeah! And they watched as Rip and Latlia flew off with Bunny in tow. Bye! And she felt a shock of electricity flowing through her muscles. They tightened and burned, and she slowly fell to the side. Bah! And Andy was there, lying on the floor like a mattress that catching her to land on. Welcome to the party! Guessing your body hasn't caught up with all that growing up you did in the book. And they both stared at each other quietly, eye to eye. A lot of time passing there. You did good sticking it out. And after staring deeply into his eyes, she buried her face into his chest. It was no big deal. It was only about 10 years after all. Hey, Tues, he said into the communicator. It's me. We've captured Autumn, but Unknown literally went up in smoke like marijuana in the wind. Ah, sorry about that, she replied over the comm. I see. No Oh, sorry about that, Andy said with graciousness. Ah, I see. No need to apologize. Good work. She said as she stood before her team fighting off all sorts of different Umas. So long as we know that the future is instead in stone, it's all we need. Also, I think I know how he acquired his info about the past and future. She said as reflected on the artifact. And of course, a few decades ago, he captured the Oma information. The rule was to bestow information on the past and future to one currently existing artifact once and only once. I presume that artifact was the pen that Arnold used. He acquired the information once he touched it. However, in an attempt to keep that phone alive, God intervened and turned him into unknown to try to keep winning the info locked away. Makes sense! Seems like something God would cook up! Andy replied as Fuko fell asleep and drooled all over his collar. But he didn't let God stop him. Juice continued. He rested his own ability and led us in the right direction. With his courage and attitude toward life, I pay him my most sincere respects. And you two did a fine job coming back alive, especially you, Fu. Said Fuko, and she gripped on to on Andy's tie like a blanket. Ah, is Fuko asleep? Oh yeah, she's on top of me, passed out from exhaustion. Her rockin' knockers feel soft. Ugh, give it a rest, boy. Passed out from exhaustion on top of you. So what's the plan for us now? Yes, plan. Right. I want you two to head off to Taiwan. There you'll find Soma. I believe we can overcome them if we concentrate our forces. Roger that! Sean, are you awake? Yes, ma'am, Shen replied as he listened to the whole conversation. Andy and Fuka will be here soon. I'm leaving you in charge until Andy arrives. Huh? Where might you be off to? Me, to visit a friend, she said. And it was out in the middle of the tundra moments later. It was in the middle of a blizzard. The ground was devoid of snow and full of heat. It seems they've captured Autumn, but given the Quarter Union, they also let Sean die. They're a tad out of line, don't you think? Their great ability shouldn't give them a free pass to... Is that, Billy? They provided us info. Undead Unluck have evolved, mon ami. Especially Unluck. She possesses a power that... can you reach God, correct? It was Billy. Huh? Is that Billy? Yes, it is Billy. I recognize that time. And Juice arrived through the portal, landing on her knees. I replied, can you reach God, correct? Oh, mon chéri, you were here after all, Have any black tea, Billy? Sorry, I'm more of a cappuccino man, he replied as he stood over the lava of of their volcanic ally, keeping him nice and warm. To be continued. Undead Unluck by Yoshifumi Tosca. End of season 1. Manga anime. Dun dun dun! Juice and Billy. What is up with that? What a way to end that. What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. Holy mackerel. Mackerel holy. Oh man, this was a good finish. It was a good finish. Now that I caught up with season 1 anime, pretty much it was a standard fair fight, final fight. with Unknown Un. I like the approach this went with the narrator. Not only explaining Fuko and finding out how she got her hands on the book, which was through her grandfather, but they pretty much Tosca definitely focused um, on covering Unknown Un's last final act, and how everybody did it through a narration, through a narrator. It's a very fascinating approach to it. You know, thanks to Fuko's talk no jutsu, Rip set aside the differences, and of course, he came to the conclusion that they do have a chance and decided to jump in, especially as all these hordes of Uma decided to re-enter the vagina of Autumn in the most thankfully non-graphic way. Right here. All these used to be humans. All of these were humans, and they all became freaking Umas, and they all returned to the womb. But the artwork was still solid. It was solid. Rip came over, got over himself, and we ended up with him jumping in, and of course with his unrepair, left permanent damage. So the team up has happened, and Andy, of course, exerted confidence, and that's when we get this nice, awesome narration going on here. Explaining about how it all started with him, with Unknown, this poor kid, and how he suffered for all of it while simultaneously looking at the fighting as it's going on. That's an interesting approach, and I kind of like that. I kind of like it because of the fact that we didn't have to worry about bad dialogue, unnecessary dialogue. In a sense, it just kept them nice and silent fighting, and I like that. You know what I mean? And it kept us focusing on the fighting, but also emphasized the point of how Unknown's plans all came together and changed everything. Like he made Rip normal, he made Andy and Fuko stronger, and he changed the future completely by preventing Fuko's death, which was the key factor in all this. Apparently, Fuko dying a lot, constantly dying, is what allowed God to, whatever this God is, to pretty much win at every turn and cause Juice to continue to loop back. So pretty much, yeah, they were able to get to the core thanks to the unluck, which I don't know what the unluck was. I mean, and he just fell over and that's it. I don't know why, I don't know how, he just plopped over just like that. That's it. He just flattened out, and of course the core being the Pokeball. Um, who knows? Bunny used her negator ability, of course, to trap him the way she trapped Fuko's gun. So victory at last. Victory at last. And one of the most saddest moments, of course, is the fact that Unknown Un is forever trapped. Like I had predicted, like I predicted last time, that Unknown didn't really die. He's just permanently trapped, and there it is. He really is trapped forever, and he'll never be freed. He's going to basically die. He's gonna die alone, and so on. So it's unfortunate. It's very sad, but it was a hard sacrifice to give humanity the chance to win and survive. So I salute you, Unknown. And so the whole entire thing ends with everyone's celebrating. Everybody celebrated. Latla, brought Fuko the pen. Fuko, of course, presenting herself and her lovely buttocks to the whole world. Right before rips a bazillion abs in his short shorts. I like how they're trying every which way they can to not have those short shorts look like booty shorts on his muscular body, making him all muscular and everything. Pretty funny. But yeah, he made it very clear that despite this this minor alliance, it doesn't mean that they're best friends or anything. Fuko got through to him, his feelings and such, but he still has a mission, and that's the fact that Juice does have the arc, and nobody knew it. And he wants to, and he's trying to figure out, what's up with that, what's up with that whole thing. So yeah, big shocking surprise after she gives Andy and Fuko their next mission, which is to meet up with Shen to take on Summer. Suddenly, she decided to show up and have a cup of tea, which she prefers coffee. It makes this is very, very strange thing, because that means that she knew all this time where he was at. Either she found him. I'm not sure what the thing. It's not very clear what the situation is, but the fact that she found him so easily means that she could have just sent everybody after him right away. So there's an ulterior motive, a very big ulterior motive, and what it is, we're going to have to wait until season 2. Once the season 2 anime happens. So there we go, everybody. 53 chapters covering season 1 of Undead Unluck. Can't wait for season 2 to happen. Whenever that happens, and that's when I'll be covering the next set of chapters. So I hope y'all had a fun time with Undead Unluck. I sure did. And can't wait to see what the answers are in all of this, and as well as taking down Summer and the other and the other remaining seasons. Which is weird. All right. So, be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow. I forgot to do that. You know you want to. And head on over to Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, a strange fantasy novel written by me. You'll find the link in the description below for the books, along with links to other merch such as t-shirts, stickers, pins, music. Please help yourselves to the merch. Enjoy them. Thank you for your patronage. And if you're interested, you are more than welcome to volunteer on my Patreon if you're interested. No obligations. And if you want to hang out with me on my live streams, my live multi-streams on Twitch and Kick, I air live stream. My live multi-stream is Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There we go. I look forward to seeing you all and hanging out in the chat and all that. All right. So until season 2 of Undead Unluck, thank you all for joining me, and I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasuminasai.